Hey you, welcome back to the channel. And today we want to talk Electroneum, what's been going on, some interesting interviews this week, great interviews. One featuring Richard Ailes with Tyler Casilio from Core Merge or the Podcast Now channel. And the other one was with great guy, Electroneum Universe, who did an interview with the Algos partnership to an Electroneum. So we're going to talk about that a little bit today. And we're going to talk about Electroneum, a coin that could possibly be a stock. Would that be interesting if they were? And so we're going to get into that a little bit today and what that all could mean. So I have been kind of thinking about the present situation with Electroneum. But first, let me cover the Richard Ailes video with Tyler Casilio. Let me give some of my thoughts on it. I thought it was a great interview. I think that Richard Ailes has been quite consistent with his viewpoint on the price of Electroneum and its connection with Electroneum, the business, Electroneum company, right? He's been consistent in saying that, hey, what our job is to focus on making Electroneum a great business. And the market does what it does. The market determines the value. There's no manipulation by the Electroneum team within that market. It is just the market determines how valuable Electroneum is. And I thought that was fair. I thought it was to the point. As far as I've seen with Richard Ailes, he's been consistent in that. I don't feel like he's tried to make us think otherwise. None of his words to me came off as anything indicating that the price was going to go up or anything like that. So he's been very careful with that, and I think that's fair. I think that's all he can do is try to create the best product and company he can. They're going through creating the M1 smartphone. They're working on the partnerships and did the Mobile World Congress and a variety of things like that. So they are putting forth work in that company to try to make a great product. And I also found it interesting, when Richard Ailes was kind of alluding to what goes on in the markets, and he's right. For the most part, we know that there's manipulation in the market. We know it's all kinds of crap that goes on in the market. There is wash trading. There are a variety of things. So the market itself needs to be cleaned up. It needs a lot of work. These are the days of the wild, wild west for cryptocurrency still. These markets aren't really regulated, so you don't know what you're going to get from one moment to another. So for some of us, that's the exciting part, the speculation. But kind of moving me over into the next segment has to do with what happens when that gets taken out, right? What happens when you take out a lot of that speculation that a lot of us probably got into cryptocurrency for. And, it kind of does one thing good and it kind of takes away some things. So with the Algos team, they are playing market maker, creating a lot of liquidity. And I got a chance to look at the Electroneum Universe video with them. Awesome interview. And they do a great job of explaining how market making works, that they are providing liquidity so people can get in and out at prices, but they're not fighting the market. They're allowing the buyers to come in. They're the seller to every buyer, and they're the buyer to every seller, right? And so they're doing that, and they're not fighting the market. And so you're going to have a lot of liquidity, more stable prices as the market can't be dumped. And what that does is it makes Electroneum a great money. Now, honestly speaking, and just being straight with you guys, we all know that's a big problem for a lot of people. In concept, it's good to say to go out to the store and purchase things with Electroneum. But I think many of us forgot that in order for that to happen, the price of Electroneum is going to have to be quite stable. So a lot of that narrative about the mooning prices of Electroneum, getting rich off of Electroneum, partying in the Hamptons with Electroneum, or whatever the case was, that reality of that seems to be a lot far off with how the Electroneum system is working. And so some people are going to have some issues with that. And it's very hard to predict as far as price what's going to happen with Electroneum. We can only focus on Electroneum's going to be a great project, and it is a great project. So what do you do with that? If you're an investor, if you're an early investor, if you're a person who bought in at a lot higher prices than Electroneum's at now, what do? How do you push through that? Well, I can only offer some options, right? I obviously I'm not part of the Electroneum team, but I can just offer alternatives, right, to different ways Electroneum could go about this. Now, what I found interesting, I'm here on the street.com article, and it's talking about here about cryptocurrencies trading on NASDAQ and how these tokens are physically backed 1-to-1 by the shares they represent. And that's all very interesting because what does that mean? Well, because the Electroneum, the company, is such a great product, but the cryptocurrency is not for investors. It would seem that the greatest value is in Electroneum, the company itself, right? So if Electroneum on their roadmap, if they achieve so much and they do all these great things, and there is this adoption across the world, in a perfect world, the value of the cryptocurrency will follow with that. But let's just say it's just stabilizes real good as a cryptocurrency. People just use it like a money, like Dogecoin. If you look at something like Dogecoin does great. It doesn't grow, but it is very stable. People trust it. People send it, use it as a money, send it back and forth. And the price pretty much doesn't move, stays the same, still does great on coin market cap, and still has quite a bit of volume coming through. Sort of like what we got to see in the Electroneum contest. We had $12 million come through in 24-hour periods, but the price of Electroneum didn't really go anywhere, right? So thinking of it like that, let's just say that happens to become an ongoing situation and those investors can't make any money. Well, a scenario like this, Electroneum becomes this great company, this great compliance-wide company, and it gets listed on something like NASDAQ. Interesting enough, if they were able to take those cryptocurrencies and then do something like this, do a conversion on the cryptocurrency to stocks in Electroneum, wouldn't that be interesting? That would be awesome, right? And I think that would offer us and give to us what many of us were looking for, and that is value being reflected in the asset itself. Money is different from an asset. Remember, we've treated cryptocurrency for the most part like an asset, yet we've went on the notion of it being a money. But when we bring those things together, now we're finding out, that's not exactly what we wanted. So even some of the biggest believers in Electroneum and the biggest holders of Electroneum don't really like that. That's not what they got in for. Of course, investors get in. Their reward for taking the risk is getting that profit, right? Is getting that value. So it's going to be very tough to sell them on a narrative that a stable price and a stable coin is all they get. That doesn't work. It only works if you're in the company and you're an asset holder. So an approach like that would help those people out a lot. Now, that's not saying that the cryptocurrency, as it grows, and if these projects are handled very well, that they won't become popular. A lot of people start buying a lot of Electroneum. But as we can see, stable prices and adoption doesn't necessarily mean that the price of the cryptocurrency will go continually up. It could just mean it could become very liquid, very stable at that price. Look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin has billions of volume come through every day. but the price doesn't fluctuate that much unless it's a big spike in Bitcoin or something to that degree. So this is a lot to think about with Electroneum, but you can rest assured on this part that Electroneum, as far as a project goes, I can tell you the sentiment I get from a lot of people about Electroneum, whether they're in Electroneum or out of Electroneum, they love the idea of Electroneum. But how can we make money from Electroneum? Nobody has a crystal ball. I don't know, and I don't think a lot of other people know. But what we do know is that this may become a great project in cryptocurrency. That helps a lot of people, but wouldn't it be great if we could own a piece of Electroneum.com? Guys, that's all I got to say in this video. If you like content like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and until next time, take care.